Okay, next I'm going to show you the rubber floor mats. You can either use the all-purpose cleaner, I have this diluted down 10:1, or the super degreaser, I have this diluted down 4:1. And once again, I'm working in the sun. These were sitting in the shade, so they're not overly hot yet. Because if they're so hot, the second you spray degreaser on them, it starts to dry. Well, I don't want it to dry because then I have to get it wet again to reactivate the degreaser and to make sure it washes off cleanly. So these have actually been setting in the shade, so they're not overly hot yet. Once again, because I work in the sun so often, you just have to go with the appropriate response based on the specifics of the moment. So if these were like the temperature of the sun, I would just have to move quickly, use more product, hose them off quicker, so you just respond appropriately. I've got my brush that's rather flexible. They have longer bristles. There's more of them because I want to be able to really get in these grooves better with a more fine, for lack of a better word, a more fine tooth brush, which my upholstery brush is ideal for that. And as I scrub these, I can tell that gray is coming up. The oxidation is being removed. Because I can see it kicking up on the cement there. On the floor mat itself, it's just showing brown, or just kind of a brown from the dirt. But the foam itself is kind of a grayish brown, grungy, dirty mess because I know it's cleaning off some of the oxidation. Simply hose it off. Now you don't want to just lay this down in the sun to dry, because what will happen is the water will pool up, and because there's minerals in this water, I'm using regular, tap water, hose water, whatever you want to call it. It will pool up, it will dry, and it will create a watermark around where that pooled water was allowed to dry. So I blow these off with a blower, and then I allow them to dry in the sun or the shade, but I want to make sure there's no pooled water that's going to dry that way. Okay, this is the second floor mat. I wanted to show you up close. You can see I don't know how well it's going to show, but it's brown and grayish because the oxidation is being cleaned off, the dirt's being cleaned off. So just so you know, based on the color of the floor mat, that is normal. So if you have like aftermarket floor mats that you buy at like Pep Boys for like, I don't know, $10 or $12, whatever, you may be a little disappointed because it's just cheap rubber. Anyhow, so I've cleaned this, I've scrubbed it. Once again, hose it off. You can see all the dirt. Now this floor mat's actually been stained. I have no idea what's going on here, but that's the problem with cleaning, is sometimes it reveals things that you just can't control. There's still a little dirt on this edge right here, so I simply reapply, re-agitate, check results, and repeat if necessary. Okay, that I have no idea what that is. Once again, you can't control everything. There is inconsistencies in materials, and sometimes with age, it's just a natural byproduct. So I'm going to blow this off with a blower. I've got these two floor mats done. I'm not going to dress them because that's dangerous, as in, sure, they may look shiny and healthier, but the second your foot gets any water on it, it becomes a disaster waiting to happen. So as a cautionary or a precaution, I do not dress them, and I don't need to with these anyways. If you happen to have a floor mat that's so weathered, you can apply dressing, regular tire dressing. Make sure you use a clean sponge so you don't mop in a bunch of dirty dressing from past. You can dress them and then just wipe them very aggressively with a microfiber and rub that dressing into them. Okay, I want to show you something after the mats are done. This is what they look like on the left. It's clean, but I know that I can make it look better, and the customer would be fine with this, but I want it better. Is that sometimes you will have to use the dressing on the floor mat even though it really goes counter to the accepted rule, at least in my world, because it can become slick. But floor mats are different in that you place your feet on them, you're not using them to get in and out of a truck, so it represents less of a danger. And because this trim shine is so light, it's not particularly greasy, so I simply spray it and then cover the mat with a light dress, just a light spray like this, so it's truly covered like that. And then I take my microfiber and I simply wipe it down very aggressively and break down the shine and the effect of the greasiness or the oiliness, the slipperiness. You can call it whatever works for your world, but I want to break it down so that it looks better. So you've got good and then you've got better. So does this feel different? Yes, it feels different. This feels, just normal, like normal rubber. Not particularly dried out or anything, but there's, kind of a resistance to it. Now this is a little slicker, but it's still, I can still grab my finger. It's not going to be overly slick or greasy or anything like that. But now the rubber mat is just simply enhanced, and this is acceptable as far as safety reasons go. And now it's at like a level 10 as far as appearances go. So to me, it's a worthy trade-off when it comes to floor mats. So that's a solution to a problem that you may encounter in your world. Okay, got my floor mats lined up. They've all been dressed. They've all been cleaned and dressed and wiped down. Before you dress them, make sure they're 100% dry. The dressing and water do not mix very well. So in all these little grooves, just verify that there's no residual water hanging out in any of the crevices before you dress them. But yes, now these mats truly look brand new thanks to the aerosol dressing.